Right into it. Today we're unpacking a story that honestly feels like a movie. We're taking a look back at an incredible journey, literally going from a cramped, dusty little space to an absolute titan of global commerce and tech. Welcome to this explainer.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture yourself sitting in a super comfortable, highly lucrative Wall Street office. The year is 1994. You've got ultimate security, a prestigious title, and basically a guaranteed path to a wealthy, comfortable life. Now, imagine just walking away from all of that. Walking away to build something from complete scratch, risking literally everything on a totally unproven idea. Crazy, right? Because this isn't just a story about a company. It's really about ultimate stakes, monumental risk, and the blueprint of what would become a multi-billion-dollar global empire.
Section 1. The Boy with Big Dreams, Curiosity and Early Ambition.
Before we can even wrap our heads around those massive warehouses and insane global logistics networks, we really have to understand the architect behind it all. And we're not starting our timeline with a billionaire, we're starting with a deeply curious kid. Jeff Bezos wasn't born into some ultra-wealthy family with endless resources. Not at all. His initial wealth was, well, entirely his mindset. From a super young age, he was absolutely obsessed with technology, science, and just figuring out how things worked. He was that kid who constantly took things apart and experimented just to see the mechanics beneath the surface. And as he went through school, he didn't just blend in. He showed serious leadership skills and really distinct academic talent. But here's the absolute crucial point. Even as a teenager, he harbored this massive, almost audacious dream of creating something that could fundamentally change the future. That early drive, that's exactly what set the stage for the whole shebang.
Section 2. The Great Internet Gamble, a secure present versus an unpredictable future.
So, by the early 90s, Bezos had successfully climbed that notorious Wall Street ladder. He had total security at a highly prestigious investment firm. His future looked entirely comfortable, totally guaranteed financially. But he noticed something brewing in the background, this rapid, completely unprecedented growth of the early internet. He truly believed this new digital frontier was going to create opportunities that had literally never existed in human history. So, in 1994, he makes one of the biggest decisions of his life. He decided to leave that safe, well-paying job to pursue a highly uncertain internet startup. I mean, most people around him thought he was out of his mind. They thought it was incredibly reckless. He was trading a prestigious firm for a tiny garage and a totally unknown future. So the crucial point is, imagine actually making that leap yourself back in 1994. Could you do it?
Section 3. The Garage Bookstore, Humble Beginnings and the Power of Convenience. Let's move to the timeline and see exactly how this builds. Because he firmly believed online shopping was the future, he had to start somewhere, right? And that somewhere was gritty. It was slow. It was definitely not glamorous. In 1994, that massive risk became a reality. Now, Amazon didn't start as the everything store we all use today. It began just as a small online bookstore operating literally out of a garage. Through those first few weeks and early months, the harsh reality of startup life really set in. They were running on fumes, extremely limited resources, and a tiny team. But slowly, steadily, the orders actually started coming in. By solving the friction of traditional commerce, actually driving to a physical store, customers began to deeply appreciate the convenience of just buying a book online. And as we move into the subsequent years, that initial little trickle of orders transformed, and Amazon's growth just began to rapidly accelerate.
Section 4. Scaling a global empire, expanding beyond books.
At this point, the sheer momentum just propelled them forward. The garage phase, officially over. The company started experiencing truly exponential growth. And the brilliant part is, they didn't just stick to what was working. They expanded way beyond books. Boom! New product categories were rapidly added to the platform. They just continued this path of relentless, non-stop innovation, constantly pushing the boundaries of what e-commerce could even be. And because of this, they attracted millions of customers worldwide. Like, in a relatively short span of time, Amazon completely transitioned from a scrappy little bookseller into one of the most recognized global brands on the entire planet. The sheer scale and diversification here, it completely revolutionized the retail landscape.
Section 5. The Cloud Computing Revolution, Expanding into Digital Infrastructure.
But then, the story takes another massive, totally fascinating turn. Bezos didn't just stop at e-commerce. He saw another invisible frontier, Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Now, this wasn't a retail play at all. This was them renting out the very computing infrastructure they had built to power Amazon itself. It was a technology launch that completely, fundamentally transformed cloud computing forever.
I mean, this wasn't just some little side project. It literally built the digital infrastructure of the modern internet. And, unsurprisingly, it quickly became a major, highly profitable source of revenue for them. This move drastically strengthened Amazon's position, cementing them not just as a retail giant, but as an absolute titan of technology.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale we're talking about here. Thousands of businesses around the entire world began relying entirely on Amazon's cloud infrastructure to run their own operations. We're talking everything from massive multinational corporations down to nimble little startups. Amazon literally became the invisible backbone of the internet for thousands of organizations globally. It's just wild to think about.
Section 6, From Garage to Billions, a Legacy of Risk and Vision.
So here we are at the climax of our narrative arc today. The transformation we've tracked is it's staggering. That small garage startup we looked at earlier, it became one of the world's most valuable companies. And that curious kid with big dreams, Jeff Bezos, became one of the wealthiest people in human history. Honestly, it can be perfectly summarized like this: a man who left a secure job to follow a bold idea, a small garage, a vision for the future. Through those simple elements and the relentless business decisions that followed, Amazon completely changed the way people shop, the way we work, and the way we use technology every single day. It truly is one of the greatest business success stories ever told, resulting in an inescapable global empire.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought. If Jeff Bezos had never left his secure job in 1994, would Amazon even exist today? Just think about the massive impact of that single risk. Would someone else have eventually built the exact same global infrastructure, or was it just this completely unique collision of one man's vision and perfect timing? Let that sink in for a minute. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning.